Revved Up Sports Show with Bobby Chaffee.
We do have this nice little format that we try to follow every week. We don't usually follow it.
And Rodney Rodriguez.
Entertain me. Tell me something. I need to know something other than what I'm seeing.
Y'all ready? Here we go. Here's Bobby and Rodney.
We are off and flying on a Monday. It is hashtag Real Race Talk. Showtime, Bobby Chaffee, Rodney Rodriguez. Championship week in the books. And a big weekend it was. Kyle Larson. Bobby's got the number 5 gear on right there as Larson.
Number 5 is number 1.
How cool would that have been if he'd have not won that title?
I think it would have been an outrage by the entire racing universe.
Well, and
would it have been rigged? Would they say it had been rigged if he didn't win?
Well, they said it was rigged yesterday. So I don't know. I mean, and that's part of the thing right there is you get these guys and you get the Final Four racing all together, and that's just kind of the way it works out. And one of the things I was thinking about yesterday, Bobby, it's like how about maybe the cream rises to the top. You got the top 4; they're the best. I mean, is that crazy? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's not an unusual surprise. It's been that way since basically the inceptions of the Championship 4 playoff. You've seen the top guys run right there, qualify. They might not always qualify right there together, but they've always run right there together, nose to tail, within a position of them. Last year, we seen it. The year Kyle Busch won, they ran 1, 2, 3, 4. When Chase Elliott won, they ran 1, 2, 3, 4. Back when Kevin Harvick had it, they were running at 1 point 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not uncommon to see the cream rise to the top, like you said, and it's quite frankly, it's rather refreshing when you see the top 4 be the top 4.
Right, and I saw a lot of folks talking about, well, what if Larson would have lost? It'd have been horrible. Let me tell you something. John Hunter Nemechek was the best truck guy all year. And so was Austin Cindric. They both lost. And I think that there's the example right there. I mean, it can happen. Didn't happen in the Cup Series, but man, what a ride. Mr. Truex right there, he gave it all he had, man. He gave that thing everything that he had.
Well, and I think part of it, too, is it's not uncommon. If you go back in and look, I think there was even on NASCAR.com today, it's not uncommon for the driver to win the most races, not win the championship, even under any format. It's been that way for years.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon. I mean, Jeff Gordon did it, had an exceptional year in 1996 and didn't win.
Yep.
Annihilated their ass.
I was talking about that on Lone Star Speed Zone today. As a matter of fact, I'm like, yeah. The year that Terry won the second title, Jeff Gordon should have been the champion. He should have been the champ, but he wasn't. And but I mean, let's go back to it. I mean, how cool is it to watch this thing go on? Is it was yesterday more exciting than having the guy be 300 points ahead? I mean, let's make the last race worth the shit. I mean, worth something, and that's where in the past it really wasn't. I mean, I like how the stages don't count. It's like whoever gets it. I said it yesterday. 312 lap trophy dash. 4 guys going for the win. Whoever does best wins a trophy.
And that's the way it should be. I mean, especially in this format.
Yeah, it should.
Because it's one of the only times I get that totally that the other, 35 cars are racing, right? Because we talked about how that's NASCAR is the only sport that happens to and stuff like that. But yesterday was one of the first times you got to see legitimately the top 4 guys go, for lack of a better phrase, head to head.
Yeah. When
they were trying to come through and make all that stuff work, try to battle for the title, you got to see them basically go head to head, and didn't really, other than when I guess David Starr's brake rotor exploded,
My man.
Nobody really had any issues up until that point. I mean, if that brake rotor doesn't explode, we're not talking about Kyle Larson winning. We're talking about Truex winning title number 2.
Yeah, that's right. 7:25 on the show today. We will have the 2021 Promoters of the Year as Rob and Libby Poole will jump on. They check in from Abilene Speedway to talk about just the job they do. And I mean, what a job they do. And you know, we had it, last week. They do a tremendous job. They have a great following, just like Waco and lots of tracks like Owen and all of this. But these folks, they do it the old-fashioned way. But I have noticed they blow up the social media too.
They do. Libby's really good about getting on there, and they try to keep it honest when they get on social media, which is quite refreshing in this world. There's a difference between a promoter being honest and a promoter trying to come through and create sympathy. Mm-hmm. It happens a lot where the message, I think the message gets sometimes lost in translation when you get something like that, where you get the actual trying to create a sympathy with versus just telling it like it is. Mm-hmm. And it's not always the same thing.
Yeah, they do a really good job. Really good job. But before we get to that, so back to championship weekend. I think for me, probably the highlight of championship weekend. we got the audio. We have the audio. Who has not been in the boots of Ben Rhodes before?
This press conference ever. You know what? Here's what I got to say. What was the question? So, okay, wait a minute. I know what the question was. It was, how did I get to... Okay, so here's how this happened. My crew chief gave me this adjustment with some lower air pressures because I said, hey, this isn't going to happen. I can't win the race the way this is. They're beating me on the restarts. He pumped me up, didn't work out the second stage, took me back down. So I watched Zane Smith and all these people drive away from me. I'm freaking out on the inside because we had radio issues and I couldn't talk to them. So I'm like really angry. I was pissed. And let me say something. I got the mic so I can say it anyways. So
right there, right there, Plus, he's got a Bud Light sitting right in front of him. So right there, that it's going to get really, really good. And I mean, how about that? And I still saw folks bitching about this too. And I mean, we want all of these drivers to, be themselves, but there were still folks upset about this.
It just amazes me what some people, you try to get, NASCAR's trying to get away from being political and all that anymore. But how many do we call the hypocritical fans? Are they considered woke? I mean, I don't know, man. It just seems like racing fans just don't sit and enjoy the moment. Brad Keselowski brought out his 2012 Stein that he got drunk on SportsCenter, did the interview when he did the toast to Team Penske yesterday. Yeah. Nobody really said anything about that. That was an old school Saturday night, just sit around the car, drink beer, and talk about stories. That's what that was. But then you get Ben Rhodes in there who gets hammered. Although I will say, Elizabeth did ask me, she said, how did he get hammered so fast?
Champagne.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It happens. It happens.
I'm not a big champagne guy. I mean, maybe at 12:01 on New Year's is when the champagne comes out.
I'll do some mimosas and all this stuff, but so it got better.
I was pissed. And here's how this went down. I said, Zane Smith, this is checkers or wreckers. I'm going to blow the motor trying to catch you. Boom, boom, boom. And I made it up to him because he had some lap traffic, and then everybody. I thought I didn't have any tire left because I was sideways after every corner, and then the mic got loud real fast. I was sideways after every corner, and you know what? I had some tire left. Those other people started slowing down. I said, "Wow, this is crazy." So I passed him. Sheldon Creed tried to get all funky with me.
Funky. I like that. I like that. And that was a really good race. And we'll get to Xfinity too, because that was really good. But it's funny because nobody is talking about, I mean, there's a lot of John Hunter fans. John Hunter should have been the champion. If you really look at this thing big picture, and we will get to local racing. I know. We'll get to all that. But we have to talk. I mean, this was a big deal. I mean, to me, I think just with the Larson thing with him, Kyle Larson united racing this year.
I think so.
Yeah, didn't he? I mean, absolutely.
He definitely came through and found a way to bridge the gap. I don't know if we can say unite might be the way to put it.
Yeah.
But he definitely bridged the gap between because all the short track racers or all the short track fans, they're claiming Kyle Larson is their guy.
Yeah, now.
Right? Their guy. And now one of their guys won the premier championship in stock car racing in North America. And I think that's going to help bridge the gap. Only problem I have with Kyle Larson winning the title is that the number 5s are becoming really popular right now, and it's hard to get when I go to register for race cars. It's going to get hard to get a number 5, but that's just me personally. But I do think that he's woken. I don't want to say sleeping giant of the short track world, but he's found a way to keep people from bitching as much.
And I think something that's going to be really big is, I mean, you go through the resume. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I mean, this dude's going to continue to race. I mean, it's been a long time. Probably all the way back to Rusty did. Even when Rusty Wallace won his Cup championship, he wasn't racing late models at that point. Back to Darrell Waltrip. I mean, that's probably the one. Neil Bonnet never won a Cup championship, but when you had a Cup championship or a Cup champion showing up to run regular races, I mean, it's probably DW. And this dude's he's not stopping. He's going to keep racing every damn where.
Hendrick ain't going to make him stop.
No, hell no.
I think
would you?
Hendrick,
would you? I mean, I wouldn't.
With what he's done, I mean, you run the risk of him getting injured, obviously, in any race car, but I think that it proved that I think that's what kept him until he proved somebody wrong that's the reason that he won all these extra races because he was racing all the damn time. Hendrick's going to let him do whatever.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. More Ben Rhodes.
And I said, ain't happening, Mama Jamma. Bye-bye. Went around the outside in the resin, and I said, goodbye. And then I thought I could maybe catch the 52 if we had more laps, but I wasn't worried about it. Third place is cool with me because I had the championship. And, wow, I talked really fast there. And I said, you know what? Championship's cool. Hope I answered that question.
They're all sitting there watching
I'm
him.
pretty zen. Thanks, my good friend Bud.
Thoughts and prayers to our transcriptionist for this. We'll go to Bob.
My wife looks really embarrassed. Are you embarrassed? We're champions. Yeah.
There he is, Ben Rhodes right there. I mean, what a great interview right there. And when we go back to talking about, with NASCAR and personalities and wanting to resonate with us, I mean, with regular people, I mean, there it is right there. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that right there.
I mean, it's perfect, right? We've all, like you said, we've all been there. I don't know if I've done it completely. Actually, I've done probably some interviews and announcing after drinking a little too hard on the bottle. I won't say when and where, but that might have been where the orange and white blue deuce came from that time. But
could be.
It happens, and I think it's just great. It's refreshing to see the driver just be himself. I mean, granted, he was an inebriated version of himself, but
I
mean, hell, why the hell not? He just won the title. You don't race around. You don't try to run full time for nothing.
Yeah, that's right. So I think that was a great thing, and then I think what was even greater is, and this is where we get the temperamental race fan when it comes to NASCAR. Because honestly, if you want to look at it, if you really want to look at this whole thing on Saturday with the Xfinity stuff, Austin Cindric is the freaking class of that series. But our guy comes up and finally wins his first race ever, not just this year. First race ever, kind of rubbed on him a little bit, and he wins. Nobody cares.
Nope.
Nobody cared.
Nobody cared. Nobody cared that there was a little rough up. Nobody cared that he passed him a little aggressively. No one cared. But not a better time to win your first race than Daniel Hemrick winning there at Phoenix. I mean, and your last race with Joe Gibbs, talk about a walk-off.
No doubt about that. I mean, he's heading to college. I mean, that's kind of a situation right there, for Hemrick, where, and that's where I think so many local racers or whatever you want to call it. I think that's where you can really embrace that, because guys busted his ass, and I mean, he talked about it on Saturday. I mean, he thought he was done at one point, and he's been able to make the comeback. Do you think he goes back to Cup? Or is he going to be? Is he going to be? What's his name? That win,
Elliott Sadler.
Elliott Sadler. I mean, is that what he's going to be?
I mean, he could be like Justin Allgaier, making a really good living running in the Xfinity Series. He got the opportunity. I think that the opportunity for him to go back to the Cup Series is exponentially increased by the fact he's got in a good with.
What do those words
colleague.
mean? What do those words mean?
Which one? Exceptionally enhanced?
Expo, whatever you said.
Exponentially enhanced?
Is that anything like conducive?
Not. I don't. They're not. They're not irreplaceable. Damn it! It feels like I've been a long time since I've done this.
This guy sounds like Ben Rhodes over here trying to figure out what to talk about right here. No, but I get what you say. I mean, it's. I mean, what does he do? I mean, to go into the colleague fold. I mean, colleague's going to go to Cup racing. I mean, could that be an opportunity? I mean, he's older, and you know, it was cool for him and Kenzie Ruston. You know, they're racing people. For them to win a championship, that's badass.
It's like one of your own, another guy that the short track people are considering their own. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's another person. You saw with Matt Weaver talking about all his stats, the Southern Super Series at Five Flag Speedway. We tweeted a bunch of stuff about him being the champion. He was our 2013 champion, and now he's an Xfinity Series champion. So a lot of the short track series and short track people that he knows were ended up the same ones that promoted some of the extra tweets talking about that was their guy. So another instance of their guy, somebody from short track racing, making it into the big leagues and winning another championship.
And if you look at all three from the weekend, I mean, I really think that we had it. You know, Ben Rhodes, not so much a short track guy, but with the audio we just played from Ben Rhodes, I mean, he sounded like, you know, some of us do. I mean, he sounded like a regular guy. Then you had Hemrick that's busted his tail to finally get it, to win that first race and win the title. And then you got Larson that has, gone across the country. And I mean, really, what a comeback story. And I will say that a lot of this was when everything happened there. Yes, I know that was a very bad situation. But when he became eligible again, when he was reinstated, I keep seeing all the love there, but I mean, Rick Hendrick. I mean, what was he supposed to do? I mean, you go get the blue chipper.
I mean, you get the best.
You get the 5-star.
You get the best available
Literally,
talent that's available at the time, and at that particular time, after Jimmy Johnson retired, realistically, if you look at it, even though he was up on the shelf, Kyle Larson was probably the one that showed the most potential. Because
absolutely,
Rick Hendrick is, he's known for giving people second chances here lately.
Yeah.
He's given people a lot of their breaks. He gave
Jerry Jones of NASCAR.
He gave Jeff Gordon his start, gave Jimmy Johnson his start. He gave Terry Labonte a second chance. Mm-hmm. He gave Mark Martin a realistic second chance to compete for Cup titles in the 5-car. Mm-hmm. He gave Alex Bowman, would you call it his opening shot or his second chance? Really?
Man.
I mean, it kind of depends on how you look at that.
And he did a good job with that this year. I mean, I know folks were knocking Bowman for what he did, but you know what Bowman did? He raced like a dadgum Saturday night short track racer, and there were still folks that were upset about that. But I think that I think it was a really good season, and I know a lot of folks don't want to admit that, and the fact that Larson wins the title, I think that culminates everything and will draw this thing. I mean, is this going to really draw the bridge together? I mean, I don't know. When he starts going out and traveling around the country, when we get fired up once again, with dirt track racing and all that. I mean, I don't know, but I do think that it was one of our guys that wins that title. Maybe it's something that will help us moving forward to unite everybody back together.
Do you think he's going to move the needle as much as Chase Elliott did? We saw how much Chase Elliott moved the needle there at the Derby. If he shows up at a dirt track somewhere, is that going to, for the World of Outlaws or a sprint car race?
I mean,
is he going to make the place get packed out and sold out?
I don't think so, because those places are packed anyway. They're going to show up. I mean, because you got Casey Kane. I mean, you got all these guys. You got all these guys that are going to show up. If Kyle Larson wound up in Pensacola, holy moly!
Denny Hamlin was supposed to run it this year, but I don't think he's going to.
Man, he was humble yesterday.
He got humbled pretty hard yesterday.
He got humbled pretty good. But, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's. I think the dirt folks are going to benefit from this, and this is where we go back to that the dirt versus asphalt, because now for the dirt folks, they're going to say, "Oh, we got a Cup champ." Mm-hmm. Where before it was like,
well, last year the short track asphalt fans got their champ. And Chase Elliott, because that's where he grew up on the short track, the super late models in the Southeast and other racing series. So you got back-to-back local short track legends, so to speak, winning Cup titles, and I think that's a good thing for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Back to short track. Good weekend. Augie Grill. Modifieds of Mayhem. Show me the money. All of that good stuff over there at Montgomery. Augie Grill once again. Just so damn good.
Well, he's so smooth.
Guy, I tell you,
he's so smooth when you watch him race an outlaw or the super late models and the pro late models. But how smooth does this dude look when he gets into one of the modifieds? It's amazing how easy he makes it look when he pops behind the wheel of one of those BMF modifieds. It's unreal how simple he makes it look. Just puts an ass whooping on him with ease.
And that's a funny thing. We've talked about it with so many modified drivers where they jump in those high horsepower cars with a little bitty old tire, a little bitty 8-inch tire. They get out there and they race. And Augie, he does it in style. He wins again. Jet Nolan wins, with the Show Me the Money 100. And good weekend out there. But I'm wondering, and I know we talked about it. Tires. I mean, we're snowball bound. I mean, we are right on that road to Pensacola, and this is where this whole tire thing. I did see that you mentioned it to me that there's some tire stuff that's been figured out, but man, this is going to be a snowball like no other.
It's going to be a very interesting Derby. I have a feeling that the story is going to be the tires, just like it was for the Twin 100s they ran down there. The story was all about the tires. The first batch of tires was pretty good. That second batch of tires for that second race, not so good. Mm-hmm. And I really think it's going to be hard to get a good solid batch of tires for 300 laps of competition there at whether the track has been repaved or not. It's still going to be a hard time to get that place, sewed up and figured out with you're going to have a questionable set of tires.
Yeah. So the announcement from Five Flag Speedway, Snowball and Snowflake teams will be allowed to purchase 2 sets of tires per car for pre-race week testing, and that includes a preview. So that there's that. Race week current plans call for a limit of 3 sets of practice tires for snowball cars and 2 sets of tires for snowflake cars. Outlaws, Modifieds, and Pro Trucks will be allowed 2 sets of practice tires for the event. That's big.
That's a lot of tires.
I think it is.
I mean, they could have cut it to 1 set for practice.
Well,
but at the same time, Tim didn't want to lose money. He makes money at that preview weekend. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Only thing wrong is I guess it's Thanksgiving weekend, right?
Oh, yeah, that is right. Yeah.
It is Thanksgiving weekend, so it's back-to-back weekends of trying to get stuff done. But a lot of people will go down there for the snowball preview. I think they give money out for the fastest car in those practice sessions, too. Or they did. I'm assuming they're going to do it again.
Yeah, they do. So that's going to be something to watch, how these guys dial these cars in. And again, I think the other part of this is, we're talking about all the tires they're getting, but what quality of tire do they get? Like you were talking about. I mean, one of the things that we saw, they were getting tires fresh out of the oven, and they were going, and that's not good.
They were just eating themselves. The tires were just self-destructing within laps.
Yeah, that is not a good thing. So we'll see. Meanwhile, at Hickory, Mason Diaz wins the late model stock car 200-lap fall brawl there. So another big win there for Mason Diaz as we really begin to start winding this thing down. And I don't know, dude. I'm so excited. I think the snowball thing. I keep going back to this, man. This is going to be not just and the thing is, I mean, I think it starts Wednesday, Thursday, all the way through. This is going to be something that we have never seen before.
It's definitely going to be. I think it's going to be one for the drivers and teams. It's going to be the most stressful Derby in a hot minute. The Derby is always stressful as it is because it's such a famous race to win, and it's such a competitive event from all over the country. My question would be, would you, with the tire issue, would you decide not to run the Snowball Derby this year because you just the without the question of the tires?
Well, and that's
Or are
where,
racers just going to be racers and show up for the hell of it?
Well, I'm thinking they will, but we've talked to so many drivers. When they talk about all the costs that are incurred in going to run that event, I mean, it's a great purse. I mean, it's a lot of money to win, but by the time you figure it all out, I mean, it's not really that much to win. So, I mean, do you save your stuff? I've been told by folks, on the inside, maybe whatever it may be, that this tire thing is not going to get any better. So I don't know. I mean, I keep waiting at some point. When does American Racer come into this? I know there's contracts in place. I do know that Gina Shile-Knowles has a bunch of tires sitting in Mobile. So I don't know. I mean, factor that into your Wednesday and Thursday races. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be completely interesting in terms of how it's pretty crazy when in one aspect when you think of they've had all year to prepare for this. Mm-hmm. But the question is everybody's space, there's a shortage in everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Apparently now there's a shortage in steel again. There's supposed to be a shortage in gas. That's why gas in El Paso was $3.50 a gallon. I mean, everything's affected. Food, everything is affected. At some point, they would have been able to prepare, like they should have been with some of the races that were getting canceled. It's like, make those tires, put them in the barn for the Derby. Mm-hmm. Because I would think that would you say that this race is the most important race for Hoosier?
I mean, I would think so. I think that this is going to be important for Hoosier to figure out how they get through this. And I mean, Hoosier's not going to go out of business. I mean, it's not a situation like that. I think what could happen out of this is that maybe we see, remember the year we lost Neil Bonnet, when Hoosier became a part of Cup racing. You had Goodyear in there and all of that. Maybe this is where American Racer becomes more relevant. But we talk about compounds and everything that we've seen with American Racer as to how good those tires are, but we have yet to see them on a super late model. We don't know what would happen with that, but I think the underlying thing that we really should take from this year is that with the tire shortage is that the thing we've always talked about, we talked about it for years here in Texas, is to how do you dial these asphalt shows back to where it doesn't have to be 4 days at the racetrack burning through rubber and fuel, and because of the gas ain't getting cheaper. I can promise you that.
No.
I don't know what Sunoco or VP, I don't know what that costs. I haven't raced in a long time. So I think that maybe this is where maybe that comes back into place. But the whole thing is, Bobby, that these guys, I mean, they don't, the guys that have a big wallet, they don't want it to be affordable. They want to go win with a big pocketbook.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's everywhere, though.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, it's not always the guy that with the most money always wins, but I mean, there's a hell of a lot of difference between Hendrick Motorsports and Starcom Racing in the Cup Series. There's also the same thing at the local level. There's guys that have a hell of a lot more money to spend than some of these other guys. I mean, think Jake Finch isn't going to try to spend everybody else with his cars?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe he's out there right now. We've been told.
Yeah, potentially
somebody that has one of these. But I think the comment of the night right there, Snowball is coming up, but I can promise you, if you are going to the Snowball Derby, you will not have a shortage of portalets from our man, Logan Boyette.
The number one and the number two business right there.
That one right there. We can talk about tires all night long, and we can talk about fuel, and we can talk about everything. But if you're going to the Snowball Derby for 4 or 5 days, I can guarantee you one thing. You're going to have to pee-pee, and you're going to have to poo-poo. And our man will set you up.
That's right. If you need one for your camper, make sure you let them know because they got to get the orders in early. We know lots of our friends that are actually going in and renting the campers for the whole week.
Absolutely.
And they're using the wonderful Porta-Johns. Those things are...
those Boyettes are nice.
They really are. The executive one that's on the trailer with the wheels and the AC, that's the one that's...
Oh, my goodness.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah. Yeah, those are nice. And I mean, even just the regular one, I mean, right there at the racetrack under turn 2, I mean, you walk in there and I mean, they always smell great and they do a great job. So if you need a pooper or a pisser, you call our man Logan Boyette, and that's and that's not a paid for. That's not.
No, that's not a paid for. That is just a certified endorsement from the Revved Up Sports Show.
That's just the bottom line.
Yeah, that's because we've used those facilities, and those facilities are nice.
Yeah, I've rolled up into that at all hours of the day and into the evening and morning, and it's always smelled like the little hanging toilet thing. It's always clean. It always smells great.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, Boyette will take care of you. Logan Boyette, that's another dude. I'm looking forward this year at Snowball. Outlaw race is going to be fun.
It should be. With all the outlaws that are out there, considering they're now getting purpose-built outlaws, that should make the competition even better.
Yeah, and then there's that. But yeah, I think that's going to be. I think that's going to be a fun race. I think the trucks are going to be great. I think it's all going to be good. I think it is all going to be good. Just a great weekend of a great week, and they got the Miss Snowball tournament or whatever they call it there. So again, lots to do there that week in Pensacola.
Is that happening at Hooters?
I'm not.
Remember they used to do all that pre-race. They used to do all that pre-race week stuff over there at Fast Eddie's.
Well, it may be now. Now that Hooters is back in the fold, so yeah, maybe it will. If anybody knows, let us know because yeah, I think that's going to be really good. But got to talk about so coming up here in a couple of weeks, not this week, but the following week, we still have big racing happening here. And oh my goodness, got a message on the down low. Boy, it says he might race 3 cars.
Ooh. Wow.
3 cars.
That's impressive.
That is very impressive.
That's expensive, but that's impressive.
Hell, he's not paying for it.
Well, when you're good and show up with a helmet and drive, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. But we got a big one tomorrow. Got a big one happening tomorrow at Boot Hill. And that's where it's so funny to me here in Texas, to where we struggle, from time to time getting cars in the pits or whatever it may be. You do have these tracks like Boot Hill that they can run just random Tuesday night races, not random, but a Tuesday night show. We talk about Kennedale and Heart of Texas and all of these places that run Friday night races, and it's like okay, what are we doing wrong?
It's funny how that we got to sit there and double question yourself about some of that stuff, right?
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable, and I don't know how many people know this that have actually paid attention. Coming up, not this Saturday, but the next Saturday, when you have the big old race, you got the Class 2021 happening at Texana, $5,000 to win for the factory stocks.
I'm sad I'm going to miss that race, but
dude,
thanks for taking that one for the team, though.
I'll take it. I'll take that one for the team. You think they're going to get 100 cars?
Just with the, on a good night they get that many cars for a weekend. I mean, how many cars? He'll definitely outdo what he did last year.
Yeah. Hey, you're getting some love there from JKD.
I know, right?
Look at you.
I know. I'm replying right now.
She can compliment my Revved Up shirt. Come on, Jacqueline. What the hell? But I think that, man, I think that the Clash, man, that is going to be. And hopefully the weather holds out, and all of this is gonna be really, really good for Owen because he needs a good race. He needs a big old race because he's kind of been hampered there by some weather. But I think that this could be. I mean, this could. I know that we had the end of the. Oh, look at Joyce. See, look at there, Joyce Shepard.
Oh well,
she loves me.
She likes your Revved Up shirt.
But I think that man, I know Cotton Bowl had the big old race on Texas, factory stock power ranking thing, but I think the Texana, if weather falls into place, if we have this whole Texas,
and that was a huge ass race last year. The Clash was huge last year,
dude. That was huge. I think that this year, if weather is good across the state, and God knows there's so many, or Lord knows. It's a lot of mileage in between. You know it. You just went to El Paso. I think that if we have a great weekend for that, man, Owen is going to hit himself a grand freaking slam with this Clash,
and he needs one.
He does.
The weather does. The weather kicked his ass.
Yeah.
Well, it kicked a lot of people's ass, but especially down there in Edna.
Yeah. Yeah. So 5K to win. I mean, people are going to show up. I mean, there's going to be a lot of folks that'll be there for that race, and good for Owen. I mean, congratulations on getting that one put together. $5,000. You'll have the factories, the limited modifieds, the late models.
I haven't seen the late model show there. I didn't get to announce one last year because
Yeah.
both times they were there, it got rained out. Mm-hmm. But I bet those guys have put on a hell of a show down there at Texana.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, the modified. So I'm sure that you will have a plethora, many. There's going to be a lot of people converging on Flag City, USA for the Clash.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Prior commitments keep me from going. I've had a great time announcing down there all year. I didn't dawn on me until I started looking back at the schedule that I've announced all but one race down there.
Nice.
I really did. All but one race this year.
Yeah,
so.
I haven't done one there this year, and that'll be a fun one to do. So, looking forward to being the Tony Romo back up in there and going in and getting that one done. It's going to be a fantastic show coming up, not this Saturday, but the following weekend.
November 20th.
18th through the 20th at Texana Raceway Park. And we are actually working, and I can tell you right now that absolutely for sure on this program next Monday, we will have Gina Shile-Knowles. She's going to check in with updates on stuff that she is working on with the Gulf Coast Racing Series. Hoping to get Owen Pittman on to preview that one, obviously. But let's talk about Gina there. Because a lot of folks, you had the great Mobile race there right there at the end of the year. It looked like a great program. I think that Joyce wants you to go. You got to go, man.
Got to have the party at the hotel room. There's only a couple of hotels there in Edna, so chances of finding one with a party be pretty easy.
Man, that one we were in.
God, that was when the roaches say hello when you wake up in the morning, that was rough.
But was it as good as the last one we were in?
Was that considered a handicap shower? With no tub in it? Was that the handicap room?
So we stayed in the shower, or not together, but we stayed in this hotel room that had a shower, and it like the tile was pulled out. It was just a concrete, looked like a locker room. It was like a locker room. It had a drain that was like hanging on with one screw, right? And it there was no place to put the soap, no place to put anything. I think that was one of my finer finds.
That was a good find. I have a picture of that shower somewhere. I'm going to post on our page right now. Hey, you're talking about shirts. Let's do an unofficial poll here. How many people would actually purchase a Revved Up Sports Show racing shirt, like a regular T-shirt, if we were to get them? That'd be a good question to know, so we know how many to try to order.
That's right. And how many people would be willing to fund them? Most importantly.
Well, that'd be that too. Yeah.
No, we can figure that part out. But yeah, Bobby and I wear the polos. I mean, we have to wear these, because we're, presentable. We're on air and
Damn,
on the
I may
camera.
have deleted those.
That's all right. If nice, give us a design. If we have a T-shirt designer,
I found them. I'll post them on the Facebook page.
Where was that?
That was was that the Motel 8 or something?
That's right. That was in Fort Worth.
It was in
Irving.
Yeah.
Irving. Yeah. So, got a great rate on a Super 8 hotel, went rolling up in there, and I thought it was going to be good. The
surface was great. Everybody was friendly.
Yeah, but it was like a cement floor. There was like tile grout in there. I think I cut my foot. Might have sliced a fat toe off right there on the bottom side.
And then you get the water all over the whole floor because there's nothing there to catch it.
Well, I like to say he did.
I got a boatload of water on the floor.
I kept all my water within the thing right there. Yeah, mine all drained. Mine didn't leak. I kept mine within because after I got done, I'm like, okay, I kind of wiped a little bit down, and then after he went in there, it looked like Lake Travis. I'm like, what the hell happened here? What were you doing in there?
Just trying to take a bath. It was weird. You got to hold the soap and trying to just keep it from. It was rough, man.
Okay. Yeah, good stuff.
I'm posting it right now.
That's the
fun times all around.
That's the funny thing is I remember vividly at one of the San Antonio races when SAS opened up. I think it was the second one. It was the second race, the first one that nobody went to after everybody wanted it open.
Mm-hmm.
That race. So I booked me a hotel, and it rained. It rained on that Friday, and so I went over. Tim Self and myself and a bunch of other people, or Raymond Delahousse. We went off and we were having cocktails at Casa dos Pedros out there in San Antonio. You know, the infamous place over there. And Tim Self was like, "Where are you staying?" And I told him, and he's like, "Who books this shit for you?" I said, "I do." I said, "I book it by price." I mean, I am also the same guy that has booked my lovely wife, Tracy, to stay at the hotel that Selena was murdered in at Corpus Christi.
Well, it's different if you stay at the same hotel versus the same room.
Well, I don't know if it's the same room,
I think it was room number 4.
Oh, that's ironic.
Yeah, right.
Great. But yeah, we didn't stay there because great friends of ours, Butch Havelka. By the way, we didn't do it enough last week. Oh, Butch, honest man right now. How about that?
That was a fun deal. Don't think I've ever done one of the train things where we had to walk through the whole.
That was a lot.
That was a lot of
my
bending
neck,
over.
My neck hurt Sunday.
Yeah.
My neck hurt Sunday. So let me tell you something about Butch. So he tells us, he told us, you know, before the wedding, he's like, "I've got a $1,200, beer tab," and the beer was what, $3?
Something like that, yeah. Something.
$3, setups, everything right here. So I've got this set up. I think it should last until about 11, and the shindig started at
Boy, was he wrong about that?
6:30. Man, Butch's friends, myself included, 8:30. Boom, gone.
It went fast.
It went real fast. And I'm like having to go to Stripes across the street over there in Corpus to go get cash. Hell,
That's because the ATM was broke.
Yeah, I had to go across to the second one. Didn't know my PIN number, couldn't see the screen. I mean, whatever. But congratulations to Butch as he and Lisa, honest man and honest lady. But good times, really good times right there. But yeah, Texana coming up a week after next. That 2021 class is going to be a whole lot of fun. Get yourself out there. Hopefully the weekend's gonna tie in to where that's going to be good. Tomorrow with Boot Hill. I don't know. Is that on Race on Texas?
Probably.
Yeah, I would think so. So a lot of our great friends and folks that have been on this show, they're going to be out there racing at that race as well. So get your Tuesday night racing fix right there as they do some badass dirt track racing.
I think that the way that the clash is going to work, I would almost guarantee probably the best trophies of the year will be given out at the clash.
Oh, absolutely.
I need to talk to Owen about getting some, like he's got some of the old spare trophies over there, like in the press box.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
I need to talk to him about borrowing or acquiring some of those so I can rebuild some of my championship trophies that have fallen apart over the years.
There you go.
My second place trophy lasted about a week for my championship.
We got some sitting up there that's like from 2000s and all that. So those need some refurbishing also. But got to give some love to Kennedale. They get their final program in. Jacob Perkle wins in the modifieds, and then John White Jr. wins in the sport mods, and just great racing all across the state of Texas. It is kind of winding down just a little bit as the temperatures start to cool, and it has been a great year. It really has been a great year for dirt track racing in Texas to be able to rebound after everything that we all went through last year. I think that I think it's been a great year.
It has been. It's been a great year with everybody trying to do the rebound. Obviously, weather affected a lot of people in February for that stuff, but it once it started heating up, it really did start heating up all across the state. So it's been good to see that. Obviously, promoters are the friends of the show. I mean, we try not to pick our favorite promoters, but we try to work with all of them. And we love it when racing's good because that means it's good for the promoters and good for the sport.
And that's exactly right. And promoting is a very, very, very hard thing to do. It's certainly not something that I think many of us would want to take on. And a couple of weeks ago, I mean, we did our 2021 Revved Up Sports Show Race on Texas Promoter of the Year, and both years it's been unanimous with folks that win this. And last year we went way down south with Owen Pittman. This year we went just a little further north. Checking in on the hotline, 2021. Promoters of the Year, it is Rob and Libby Poor from Abilene Speedway. Guys, how we doing?
We're good.
We're great.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, a tandem. I love that.
That was going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
So how's the weather outside in y'all's neck of the woods? Has it gotten cold up there yet? It's getting a little chilly down here in Central Texas, but how's y'all's weather up at the top there so far?
It's nice right now. It's like 75.
We've had a little chill, but it's nice.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So guys, talk about this. We'll talk about the award and all of that, here in just a minute. But just talk about so many challenges. And you can wear the white hat. You can wear the black hat. I mean, so much that goes into operating a short track.
Well, Rob and I do everything. We do everything from the dirt work to the promoting to the concessions. We do it all, and so it's definitely a lot going on. We definitely wear different hats and work together a lot for it and do well. Rob works really hard on the racetrack and has great positive vibes on that always, and we just do our best.
Yeah, and it's crazy all the stuff that you have to do. When you do it yourself, it's just like people call me and they say, "What are you doing?" Well, you wouldn't believe it, but we're cleaning restrooms. You get to do the whole thing. The glorious job of promoting is you're cleaning the bathrooms and you're working on the trucks and tractors and all that. But I guess one of our challenges this year were employees, like every other business.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's just crazy to think about. People, hopefully people are starting to realize from the promoter side of it that it's not as simple as just showing up and flipping on the lights and letting everything work. It sounds like you guys have your hands full. How bad were you guys affected by some of the winter weather storms that came up in Mother Nature this year? Because I know Abilene's weather is kind of its own unique animal up there where it's located in the States. So sometimes it's kind of a hit or miss deal. But how did you guys fare with some of the winter stuff?
Well, we've never lost the icebreaker since I've owned the racetrack. Been 20 years until 2021, and we had that horrible ice storm and snowstorm, and we had 14 or 16 inches, and it was. Wow. I was out there 3 days when it was 0 outside. Wind chill was -5 or 6.
Sheesh.
Trying to scrape snow off the pits, hoping that we would have electricity and water to race at the icebreaker, which we didn't. So
yeah, and I don't know if people up north have better pipes, but our pipes definitely probably weren't made for all that. We almost tried to attempt it because we kind of got a break in the weather, and then thank God we didn't because, was it Friday? A pipeline burst
our main water line.
Yeah. Burst Friday midday, not even a mile from the racetrack. So that would have been fun.
Oh my goodness, that'd have been horrible. Rob, you talked about something there that I think is so important. I know with folks down here in South Texas, you guys. I mean, Heart of Texas. Jerry Friedrich owns that racetrack. You guys, that is your racetrack. Talk about the leverage that you have to be able to do stuff where folks that lease a racetrack, man, it's hard to really make stuff happen, in that manner.
Well, it's Richard Snyder always says this to me. You have to be a gambler to have a racetrack because it's a gamble every week when you guarantee you're going to pay something, and especially if it's a big payout. And you're hoping people come, you're hoping people come is exactly what it is. But owning it is way different and promoting it than just owning it and somebody leasing it, because we get to do what we want to do when we want to do it, but it's all on our shoulders, and we actually have to make a living doing it. So,
yeah.
So talk about,
and I know,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Libby. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, that's okay. I just was thinking it was either on y'all's show or from the article that he wrote, but basically, there's not as much money as people think are in it compared to how you work hard. And, and like Rob said, it's our living. And we do, though, get to choose and pick what we, want to do or whatever for the most part. But we really, really try to work hard for the racers and our fans to get and have what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So let's talk about the big races for you guys. Obviously, you've got the Icebreaker and you've got the Southern Challenge. Is it all hands on deck to where your first part of your season is set up by the success of the icebreaker, and that can hold you in for a couple of nights there in the beginning? I mean, or is it the opposite effect for you guys, where your weekly program ends up being more successful than some of these bigger shows that you guys have that bookend your season?
We used to. It was the main icebreaker and Southern Challenge made our year, and you had to have the regular season to keep your car count, your car base there, and your sponsors that pay you. So you have to have those races, and it was a struggle for many a year. When I bought it, it was definitely on the downturn for about 4 years. And racing is not always in a climb to the top. It definitely has its valleys, where it goes down. But the big races used to carry us, but this year, this is the first time we did not have the icebreaker, which is a big part of our deal, and we still had a really good season.
Yeah. And plus, I think the big races, not as much, too, don't you think, honey? Because there's so many more big races now.
They're not quite as big as they used to be.
Our Southern Challenge, there weren't many other choices, and people just always planned, and now there's a lot of people out there having them. And so I think we just have to offer a great racetrack, and people know and trust us, I think, and know that we're going to do what we say and do the best we can. And I think that goes a long way for us.
Yeah, I totally agree. And isn't that the biggest thing? I mean, because you hear it across the board, racetracks, they're not consistent. And whether it be a good or bad thing, I mean, you do. I mean, you have to walk the line, and you have to do what's best for the racer, what's best for the fan. And it really seems like you guys, just across the board, that consistency is really the main thing, to keep a track functioning and being successful.
Well, I think we work hard for that, don't you, hon?
Yep, for sure.
I think we've got really good employees, and I definitely want to acknowledge them. We have some real loyal and good employees that we've had for a long time.
20 years.
Wow. That's
for
awesome.
a long time, even before I came around. Of course, the racetrack really turned around when I came around.
Of course.
Yeah, it did. They did. He paid me to say that, or told me what was going to happen if I didn't.
But I didn't trust him to say it. That's why I went ahead and threw it out.
But it is the truth. She works hard on the social media end. She calls or messages almost every racer all over the country, asking them to come and race at our racetrack. And she works weeks and weeks and weeks till midnight every night, messaging people,
just letting them know that we'd love to have them, and that it means a lot to Rob and I, that we personally would love to have them. So,
love that.
I love that. That's an old school way of trying to get people to come to the racetrack.
Absolutely.
The one thing that I like about y'all's social media is I've seen it before in some of the videos that you guys posted when there's been an issue. You guys are really honest about it, and I think a lot of the racers really respect that you're willing to put it out there. Kind of wear your emotions on the sleeve when you had some issues with different avenues on a couple of times, but that's the one thing that I've noticed is that you guys put it out there, and people tend to respond in a very positive manner because you guys hit it right on the head every time that you just put the nip it in the bud, so to speak, and just start rolling along with the rest of your program.
Yep. And we kind of faced a little bit of that for the icebreaker this last year because it was going to be the Lone Star Stock Car Tour, and we had people that were ready to come, and we're in the middle of the week. They're coming from all over the United States for that race. And we were the first ones that told the tour, we're canceling our race right now. We could race, but we cannot have people drive 12 hours down here just for a maybe and us cancel. So we made the move first to cancel.
We feel like
we knew it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And give up our chance of getting it in. And it ended up being the right call no matter what.
It's not an easy call, though, but I just feel like Rob and I both try to be as honest as we can. And I'm just, just like what you see is what you get. And so I think that's just how we need to be and do it.
Yeah.
They might not always want
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, talk about that, guys. I mean, that's one of the things, people want to beat the promoters up when it's like, the race got canceled, but the weather wound up being good. But, man, what a hard call. I don't care if you're on dirt or pavement. I mean, you're the one, and you have folks that are coming from everywhere to get there. I mean, but put us in your shoes when you have to make a call like that. I would never want to be in your shoes when it comes to something like that.
We've had some really tough ones, even this summer, where they gave us 50% chance of rain, and it would rain around us. And Libby and I are standing at the concession stand going, we just rain some because we know we're not going to have a crowd.
Or go away.
Go away. We need it to. But, when I first bought it, it took about a year or so. And sometimes it would rain in town, which is a mile and a half from our track, and it wouldn't rain at the track. And it would shower at the track, and I would cancel the races. And the people would go, well, that's pretty bad. All y'all could do is sneeze on your racetrack, and y'all canceled. And I said, and next week at the drivers' meeting, I said, I just want to address this. You guys like having a place to race. If I race 3 or 4 times like that when we shouldn't and lose $5,000 or $6,000, y'all won't have a place to race. This is not my hobby; it's your hobby. And then they kind of understood after that.
Wow!
I don't know that they realize though how hard it is. I mean, even to this day, even though it's every year we deal with it every year, but we will. I mean, if I'm not out there yet, Rob will call me like, what do you think? God, I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. It's like I hate to do it.
Yeah.
But we go back and forth, and we've got the evil and the good on both shoulders going, do it, cancel, go for it, So we really just want to do the best we can for our racers, our fans, but like Rob said, it's not our hobby, and we want to keep our racetrack alive.
Yeah. That's one thing that kept our track alive is, you take somebody that's their job and you're new and you have 3 or 4 races like that where you lose a bunch of money, you might not open the next season.
I mean, I thought Rob had money when I met him, but I was obviously wrong.
You can make a small fortune racing. All you got to do is start with a larger one, and it'll go down.
That's what they always say, my friend. That is what they always say.
Hey, it's true.
So
we really appreciate you guys.
Oh, and this was. I mean,
shock.
I think Rob and I both kind of teared up. He got told at a different time than I did, and wow, it's definitely. I think an honor and touches you more than I think you'd realize. If somebody said, "Oh, you might get that next year" or whatever, and it's definitely an honor and very humbling that we were nominated. And I know we were told a couple times that it was, everybody agreed on it.
Unanimous.
I mean, unanimous. I can't even talk. And that means a lot.
Yeah, it really does.
It might have been anonymous. I'm already getting nervous.
That's something else.
That's a different discussion, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about sanctioning for you guys. Obviously, you guys are IMCA sanctioned, and I think having a sanctioning body come through and make determinations if there's a question about a rule or an interpretation or something like that. Everybody we've talked to that's definitely been an IMCA sanctioned track, they said that's the best part to have in the back pocket because it's not something that you get to determine because you send everything up the chain to IMCA and they're the ones that makes the call. How important of that is to have a good relationship working with your sanctioning body?
It is a huge deal, I tell you. And Brett Root and I are really good friends. We talk a lot during the week, and we have for 20 years. And now he's the president. He wasn't the president when I first met him and got to know him, but they have done a great job. Everybody at IMCA, and I have racetrack people that are going to lease racetracks call me quite a bit, and they go, "What do you think I should do? Do you think I should change sanction bodies?" And I said, "No, absolutely not. I'm just telling you, if you're wanting help, those are the people that's going to help you."
Yeah.
And I'm not bashing any other sanction, but they help you. They've helped us a lot.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like they're like us, loyal and true. I think they've got our back, and that means a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. That we've heard that so often about IMCA. I mean, and they're the best for a reason. I mean, they do what they do. Libby, let me ask you. So I think it's so important. Social media is so important. It can be the lifeline of a racetrack or the death of a racetrack. Obviously, but depending how you use that. But I mean, I love what you do. You jump on there, and I think you are a great example to where you don't have to get on Facebook or whatever it may be. You don't have to get on there and do all this crazy stuff. You just let people know what's going on. Talk about the importance of social media right now when it comes to operating a local short track.
Well, I think, like you said, it's kind of what I'm known for. I think that's so funny. The very first time I think we're going to race, and it was
an ASCS sprint car night.
Well, and there was kind of rain in the area, and I was like, hey, they've got these live things, and I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I practiced a couple times.
That's how this show started.
But
it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
It worked.
But, it's cool because they could see where you're at and all that, but then it just turned into every week just trying to be honest, like, hey, guys, this is what we've got going on. Rob and I've worked very hard this week, all this. And like you said, I try to be just open and honest. And I think that's what people go, hey, Libby's about to do a live. We're going to figure out what they're doing, what's going on. She's going to basically say, either Rob needs to get out there and work a little harder or, whatever. But, I'm pretty honest and going to say that. And, I mean, social media has been huge for us. This year, I've even tried to throw in some goofy Instagram reels, trying to get some younger crowd. I don't know if you've tortured yourself with my reels.
No, but, not torture at all.
She into one of them.
Yeah.
And then she tells me that I can't be on her lives because I have a face for radio.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club, Rob. Welcome to the club, my friend.
Sometimes it's painful when I know he has to be on to say some stuff. But, when it comes down to tires or what they need for their cars, that is so out of my, range that I don't have any idea. So I have to let him be on every once in a while. But I never let him steal the show, But it is important. I could probably be better at returning comments because I get so many tags, I can't even keep up with them. And, between my menopause and my gray hair, I just do my best. But my white hair, But, it's been great, and I feel like I use it for what it's meant for and the best thing that it is used for, really.
Yeah.
Is. So,
yeah, no doubt.
And the opposite side of it can be so damaging to racetracks.
Yeah, that's true.
We followed a lead from a track up north a couple of years ago. We had some social media problems from a couple of people, and we put it in place. We actually were instrumental in IMCA's rule on that. When people bash a racetrack, turning them over to IMCA and letting them handle them if they're racers. But we started putting it on our registration forms that they understand that them and their family and their crew he's responsible for those, and we're not going to tolerate it, and they'll be penalized for it. And that's worked really, really well until we got my race pass now, and they don't fill out that form. But I think they all understand what's going to happen.
I just think, people don't realize the damage it can do. And I really think we've been blessed, really. We've not had a lot.
Much.
But I also think some of it's our personality. Like you said in the beginning, I think we just nip things pretty quick.
Yeah.
We're open. We're honest. We tell them we're not perfect. It's like being a racetrack promoter is like being an ump at a baseball game. Good Lord. Nobody really wants to be it, but somebody has to. And we love it. We love it as hard as it is. We do enjoy it, and we work hard at it. But both sides of the social media, I think, is very important. And I think also trying to deal with those head on is important too, and we try to do that. We try to call out the people, even personally, to go, hey, I think there's a better way for us to work this out, I think people don't realize they throw things on before they realize or whatever. So I think also if they see that, look, y'all can talk to us. We're easy to talk to. Just, I always tell them, hey, I'm old. Pick up the phone. That's what I'm used to.
Right. The old way. Yeah. Isn't that funny? Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So when you guys
Yeah, in San Antonio, where's 512?
We're Austin. Yeah, Austin.
Yeah, we're in Austin.
Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Cool. Well, we really, really appreciate you guys. I can't tell you enough.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it and seriously, guys, it really was. I mean, with you two, it was because Bobby and I, we don't vote on that. I mean, we kind of stay on the backside because we've got so many promoter connections. Whether it be we both announce at various tracks, and so we stay out of that. But as all of that was going on, it really was. It was like hands down. I know last year, there was a lot of discussion with everything. Last year was rough, and so let me ask you that. So for you guys, 2020 versus 2021, which was tougher, the COVID year or the post-COVID year?
I think the post-COVID.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our deal was that we did lose some races early in COVID, but
And maybe the uncertainty of not.
yeah, but what happened in 2021 is we had a really good season, and the week that school was out, a lot of our grandstand people just disappeared due to vacations they had taken in a year.
Yeah.
But you know what's cool about the COVID year is there was not a lot to do. And
We sold a lot of beer.
I'm telling you, we get calls. It'd be like 9:30. We started racing at 8, and they'd be going, "Y'all sell beer? Y'all open? Y'all sell beer?"
Hell yeah.
So on my pages, I definitely got, "Hey, and we sell beer." That kind of became a joke. But out of that, we got a lot of new fans. Abilene's a funny town. There's rodeo. There's people that 2 miles away at Dice don't even realize there's a dirt track. It's kind of funny. And
we radio advertise.
yeah, we do everything. And so it's always funny to hear that. And you just kind of think we work so hard, and yet still there's some people it's hard to get to. I mean, we do flyers on
We do old
businesses.
school.
We do old school stuff. We work hard. And
Love it.
but we definitely got some new people out to the track, and I feel like we kept a lot of them. Even with the other stuff opening up, I feel like we kept a lot of them.
So before,
that was,
But it was
good.
a toss up.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good came with COVID
Yeah.
that year, and then this year it was a good year, but we had a month or so there where a lot of people went on vacation.
Yeah. Getting out and about.
Yep.
Yeah. And thinking this year, oh, cool, we can do more towards the end.
Yeah.
But
That's right.
I think, we had both years. I think we're pretty good, really, considering. We feel very blessed. There was a lot of people that could not do their business.
Yeah.
And we had a great city that did not just fold in. And, that meant a lot. That meant a lot.
So before we let you guys go, we can't go without talking about the icebreaker coming up in February. It'll be here before we know it. February, we're here.
Yeah.
Any details you guys can release about any more specific stuff about the icebreaker? I know that's a big one for you guys, and it's a longtime classic here in the great state of Texas.
Well, we're going to have some special announcements here coming soon. Probably we're going to discuss some of it while we're at Vegas this next week with IMCA, but we will have a big announcement, and we'll try to let you guys know about that.
Yeah.
For sure.
We can't really talk yet. It is going to be a big event, and there will be something special about it.
Yeah, we're super excited. What is it, the 18th, the 19th?
18th and 19th. Yeah.
I only said that a million times to think we know.
That's
But
awesome.
menopause and white hair.
Yeah, there it is.
18th.
It happens. Yeah.
18th. There we go.
Yep.
But we will keep you guys a heads up on that.
Yeah. February 18th and the 19th, it will be the 2022 Icebreaker in Abilene. I might have to take me a little trip up north. I think that that would be a great time. Guys, congratulations. And just so proud of what you guys are doing. And Bobby and I both, just as longtime, race fans, drivers, now talk show, whatever. Thank you guys for doing it the right way. I mean, you set a path that I think people should take your prototype and just figure out that sometimes, I don't mean this in a bad way, but you dumb it down. You bring it back and just, put yourself in front of people, and that's really what it takes to make this stuff really work out.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Well, we so appreciate that.
Yes, we do.
Um,
Quite the
that
honor.
we're dumbing it down.
No. I mean that as so many people overthink this.
Yeah.
I see so many track operators and they'll send me ideas and I'm like, what? I'm like, just reach out, stay in front of people. I mean, do stuff the old-fashioned way, and that's it's worked for years. And you guys are the ones that are really showing how it should be done.
Well, wow. We appreciate those
Yes.
kind words, and I'm glad that we have been noticed. It means a lot. And so we do work hard, and
Yeah.
we do try to take one day at a time and do our best every day.
And we have a lot of good people that work for us on Saturdays.
And we have a lot of good racers and fans. We have a lot of, but it's very humbling. We appreciate all this.
Got to have a great staff. It's all about team. That is what it's all about, guys. Rob and Libby Poor, congratulations on Abilene Speedway success and 2021 Short Track Promoters of the Year. Proud of you guys.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
guys. We'll talk soon.
All right, bye-bye.
You bet. Take care. See? You don't have to overthink things. They're doing it.
Kind of just making it happen.
They're just doing it. I mean, that's really the way that we've watched it, for years and years. But, man, that's so awesome to hear them. They're good together.
They really are
They're
good together.
So good together, man. I love that.
But isn't it weird how every promoter we talked to said that they had more success in the COVID year than they did this year?
Yeah.
And I think it's because we've mentioned it a million times on the show, is that it was when the racetracks opened up, it was the only thing in town, and a lot of people that hadn't been in a long time went back to the racetrack, and people that had never been before went to the racetrack, and a lot of them got hooked, and it seems like a lot of them were staying there in 2021, but between Mother Nature and now people opening back up for summer vacations and stuff like that, they've taken a little hit. A lot of it's all been weather related from everybody that we talked to is having the major issues.
Yeah.
Not so much the attendance, but sometimes when you lose that little bit of momentum, here's hoping 2022 gets back on a good solid footing again for all these racetrack motors. Not just Rob and Libby because they're just on the show. I mean, as we said, we want all of our promoter friends to do well because it's good for the sport when the racetrack goes. But they're like Waco. They own their own facility. It's a whole lot easier to try to make capital improvements on a place that you own.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that is like they were talking about. I mean, the folks that go race there, and also the spectators. They respect what the Poors are doing. I mean, they want to go out there. They want to be a part of it. Same thing with Waco, with Bellmead, whatever you want to call it. They have the support there of the city. I mean, but again, that's tough to have. I mean, we can go back to that, time after time about how owning the track and all that is great, and it's only a select few that are in that spot. But I mean, the ones that are, I mean, you see this. You see the success right there, and Abilene. I mean, who would think that Abilene? I mean, with all the tracks in DFW and just everything, all the great racetracks that we see, that you would have a booming quarter-mile semi-banked, clay racetrack in Abilene that
of all places,
that's just kicking ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's a whole lot closer from DFW to Abilene than it is from here to Abilene.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's
it would be a fun road trip, though.
Oh, man, absolutely. It is on my calendar. I mean, I want to go to that icebreaker. I mean, I want to see that. I mean, I just want to see everything the way it works. And I mean, I love what they talk about right there. And it's different right there for them because it's their business. I mean, they kept talking about that. They kept coming back to that. The concessions, but again, that's where we can talk like with Gina. With like with the Houston thing, when folks talk about Gina, and by the way, Gina on this show next week, hopefully Owen Pittman as well. But like with the Houston thing, I mean the Poors, they're in control of concessions, front gate, back gate, everything, and that's the ideal situation.
And I think that is a good thing, and that's a bad thing that you're in charge of everything. But I think you control your own destiny that way. It makes it a little easier. Makes it easier that way. I think in some aspects that you control your own destiny, but But is it one of those things that you take it more? It's like when you have somebody being a third party concession, and they put too many jalapenos on the nachos, or they have the cold hot dog effect that we talk about all the time. Yeah. That directly reflects the track. And it's like, do you take more offense to the third party that does it, or do you take more offense if it's yourself that's getting the one that's being the one that's getting the bashing all over Facebook? And
so listening to them, like when they're talking about with the whole rain out thing, because we've talked to Gina about that. I mean, with Marianne and 37, and it's Lord knows South Texas. With that, could you and Liz work hand in hand like that?
No, hell no.
Operating
no. She doesn't like racing enough to do that.
Well, no, but I mean, I'm not sure Libby did either. It doesn't sound like she did. It sounds like she kind of thought that this dude was loaded and found out he owned a racetrack.
Lots of acres in a dream, right?
He told her it had to have been. We should have asked. When they met, he probably told her, "Oh yeah, I have all this acreage."
Probably.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It is so cool to hear them because, I'd heard a lot about the way they operate the place, but it is. I mean, hand in hand, they go in there and they're just doing their thing, and it's great, and they are much deserved to be promoters of the year.
They're much deserved. You see that picture of Stevie's car?
I'm trying to look at it, but I can't quite focus in there.
It's got a custom wrap on it with Vegas theme when he's in Vegas.
Ah, nice. There you go. Very, very nice. What are we talking about? Yes. Yeah, I just love what they're doing there, and I think that 2022, I think for them is gonna. I mean, the thing is, I mean, they've got the icebreaker, they've got that, the Southern Challenge. I mean,
and those are the staples,
those
right?
Are benchmark races.
They used to be the only show in town.
And isn't it funny where they were talking about? And I was thinking about when they were talking about those races, because we talked like about Five Flags with Pensacola, how obviously the Snowball is their big race, and Show Me the Money, all these big races, Winchester 400 or whatever. Those are the big ones. But when it comes down to them, what they have done, they really go in and they dig in and they make the local shows ones that people want to go to. Mm-hmm. And I think that's admirable right there to really dig in and win the local show, because that's the hard part.
It's really the hard part. I mean, it's one thing to have the people show up when they're coming from all over to go to the big races like the Icebreaker and the Southern Challenge. It's another thing to get them to show up weekly. Asking a promoter, it's hard. And their schedule is one to where, it's okay to run weekly. They're one of the few places that actually does it.
Yeah.
In terms of trying to get people there, remotely weekly. But it's good. It's finally good to see, the promoters that are out there. Not that we don't like to talk about promoters that are unsuccessful, but it's good. It's just good to see that when it happens to nice people. That way.
And I think like Mike says there, it shows the long-term commitment, and that's something that the Poors can do. That's something that Jerry Friedrich can do, and the folks that own the racetrack. And that's not. I know we talk about that a lot, but that's not to discount the promoters that don't own the place. And like Owen, who hopefully will be on the show next week. I mean, he's in a good place because he has an owner that has his back. I mean, Cord is going to do, what he's got a lot of value in what Owen is doing right there, and he wants him to kind of guide this thing and lead it. And, if Owen says, I think we need to put stands, 5 miles away, he'll do it because he values what Owen is saying. But it's not to discount the folks that don't own the racetrack, and that's what I want folks to realize is we're not bitching about the folks that don't have that privilege. I mean, because it's again, it's a select few that are in business in the racetrack business. There aren't many. There aren't many, and there's a reason for that, because it's not something you ain't going to retire doing this crap.
No, you're not, and it's hard to make a good solid living to try to end up doing it with the way that it should be. There's a way that you can make it work. It's not going to be financially successful, where you're going to make a lot of money, but the goal, like in every business and livelihood, is just to make enough money to where you max in. The money that's coming out is the money that's, you want to have a little bit more money coming out at the end of the day than you had coming in, right? Or is it the other way? Wait, did I say it backwards?
Yeah, no. I know what you mean.
Yeah, the
I know
money,
what you mean.
you got to have, they have to make money to keep the place open and to keep their livelihood open, to be able to pay their own bills and eat their own food and drive their own vehicles and stuff like that. So definitely, I love the old school aspect of just putting up flyers, because Abilene's small enough to where, Waco is big. And I think that Abilene's a little bit more smaller of a community to where you should have, everybody should know everybody. And they probably got the hardcore fans that go sit in the same seat every year and have for the last 25 years.
Yeah. And that's where I think that, like, when we talk in cases of 281, if Joe would have owned 281, my goodness, that one there, that would have been so massive had he been able to, be the property owner. But I don't know. That's why San Antonio is sitting. That's why Kyle is closed. That's why
Corpus Christi,
Corpus Christi, trying to figure out race dates in Houston on the pavement side. But the good thing is, I mean, there are many, many good people that are operating racetracks all across the state of Texas on the dirt track side that don't have the luxury that Rob and Libby Poor do to own that thing and to make it their life. But the thing is, I mean, a lot of the promoters that lease, it is their life. And
it's their livelihood too, even though they lease the facility.
Yeah.
Just makes it a little bit more challenging.
Yeah. And I think that's why, you got to get out there. And I love what she said. He said it too. Guys, when you have a problem, pick up the phone, call the promoter. Don't get on the Facebook. Don't get on the Twitter. Don't get on the whatever else. Hash it out amongst yourselves. There's no need, like she said, social media can help you miles and miles and miles, and it will cripple you with one shitty post. One shitty post,
that's all
and
it
you're
takes.
done.
Yep.
And you're done. So good stuff right there, and very, very much deserved. And after hearing them, very much deserved. Yep.
Yeah, great couple, and just a great, very positive contributions, contributors to the racing circles, and it's good, well deserved, and they seem to be very humbled and happy about winning. So.
Yep, absolutely. So back to the lead story. Kyle Larson with that big win right there. Daniel Hemrick, Ben Rhodes, all the champions are crowned. Your thoughts on NASCAR in 2021?
I think it was as advertised, with all of the shakeups as the new schedule. We didn't have the new car like we thought we were going to do because of COVID, and I think it's good they spent the extra year doing the R&D on the car, and that's going to be the biggest story for 2022 is going to be the next era of NASCAR, because this is a completely different concept of a racing vehicle than they've ever done.
Yeah,
that's the new era in 2022, going to the Clash. From that point on, we're going to start seeing them do road courses, street races, custom events all over the country. Racing the NASCAR that we saw in 2021 will cease to exist in 3 or 4 years, in a good way. But I think between the schedule changes, they made all the right decisions, moving to the different markets. The Nashville race was successful. Obviously, it was great to see the Cup cars at COTA. Weather permitting, I could participate that race being even better next year with the next gen sports car.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, I think it lived up to the hype, and I think the guy that we didn't have to hear the most deserving guy didn't win the championship in the playoffs. So he, when it comes time to it, the team won it with a pit stop, and I think that all things considered, I think for all 3 national series, you could check mark them off as a pretty good success, because the Xfinity Series had some damn good races throughout the year too. So
yeah, it did.
it's fun to watch, and as always, it's fun to be a part of.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it was such a good year, just with everything that we saw, and I mean, I think I don't know if I will call it a resurgence, but I do think that there is a gap there that's going to bridge itself back together. I do like what Matt Weaver is doing with Racing America, and his task is tall. But I do like that to kind of bridge that gap. I mean, it's not so bad. You can like them both. I mean, you and I mean, we love the NASCAR stuff. I mean, hell, now I love Formula One now, and I've had folks that message me, and it's like, what's a hard on now with Formula One? I'm like, well, it's intriguing.
It's a lot of fun. I like it. The racing is good.
Absolutely, and I think that's really the main thing for all of us, is to just enjoy good racing. And I don't care if it's at a Texas dirt track. I don't care if it's at Arizona, Phoenix Raceway. I don't care where it's at. I don't care if it's in Belgium. As long as we have good competition, just racing. That's what we do.
I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, that's what makes it fun. It makes it a challenge, and at the same time, we live for every minute of it. If we didn't have it, we'd be bitching about it being gone.
You ain't never lie. And we should remember that from last year. Great show. Rob and Libby Poor, promoters of the year, Revved Up Sports Show and Race On Texas, and much deserved. Great folks right there. Get yourself out to Abilene. It's coming up. It is coming up. February 18th and the 19th, the 2022 Icebreaker. More to come. We'll have them back on before we get to there.
Oh, yeah. They look like they'd be fun reoccurring guest over there.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. That's we need that East Texas stuff right there. We got to tie that in. Got to tie that in. Congratulations, Kyle Larson and all his fans and his great beer guzzling wife.
That was fun to watch.
She's a gem.
She did 6 or 7 of those, man.
She did. Good stuff. Check in on the socials. We are back next Monday. #Real Race Talk from Texas. He's Bobby. I'm Rodney. We gone.